Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, Blog Talk Radio. This is Michael Edley, Psychic Medium, coming to you live for Two Psychics.
Hello, this is Mary Amy coming to you live for Two Psychics. I'm an intuitive wisdom coach, and I hope you join us on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Bye.
Bye-bye. Good evening, everyone. This is Michael Edley, Psychic Medium. So glad you could join us tonight. My fabulous co-host, Mary Amy, is also coming to you live. What's up, Mary? How are you?
Hello. Yes, I'm coming to you live. This is Mary Amy, and I'm an intuitive wisdom coach. And here I am in New York in this moment. I want to say, everybody, let's be in this moment right now and have gratitude. Let's release the past, not look forward. Just be here, have all your energy in this moment. If you ground yourself and remind yourself to have all your energy in the base of your spine and you shoot it down to the earth as well as your feet, and you just in front of you hold and look at, put your hands out and look at what your destiny is, the colors, the location, what is it that you want?
Good stuff. Good stuff. Let go and be in the moment. I think that's the message of tonight's show. Let go and be in the moment.
Gratitude. Yes.
Gratitude. Absolutely. When we're letting go and we're being in the moment, so much easier to come from a place of gratitude. Absolutely.
I think so. And if you start by loving yourself, have self-love, you tune into your heart, and we've been talking about that, and I'm reminding you, once a day, hopefully in the beginning of the day, maybe it's right after you have this positive thought when you wake up and you've written down your dreams in your dream journal, and you tune into your heart and you say, how am I feeling? And usually one word. And then you can kind of masterfully change if you're not feeling good or you come back with sad or unhappy. You say, okay, I'm giving it some acknowledgement. What is it that I need to do to bring myself to a place of light and love for me, my power within me?
That's good. Good stuff. And the more solid our foundation is, the more of a solid foundation we could be to those around us. Absolutely. Lift everyone up. That's what it's about.
Yeah, spread the light, because you know what? We can't control anything out here in the external world. We can only control ourselves, our thoughts, words, and actions. So tonight, everyone, it's pretty exciting. We have a guest. Let me tell you a little bit about tonight. We are exploring the psychic ability known as channeling. I'm going to be doing a relaxation meditation, just a little brief one, and it's going to be related to your psychic ability, clear hearing, clairaudience. And hopefully, we're crossing our fingers, Michael will be giving a past life reading, because we're going to grab someone. And our guest, Laura Faye. Tell us about our guest, Michael.
Oh, so Laura Faye, I have some really interesting questions I want to ask her. I'm just curious about her channeling abilities, how it started, different things she experienced in opening and aligning to that. Because an interesting thing, when we talk about channeling, this is something that back, I think we're going back to like 4 or 5 BC. We're actually going back to Plato. So if any of you out there are familiar with or have read some of the works of the philosopher Plato, a lot of what he had originally talked about was the immortal soul, how this immortal soul carries on, and we can tune into that immortal soul, and we can transcend beyond what we are, who we are, beyond what this physical body is, and we can pull into and reach realms unknown by the physical body. And that's what he says, it was the immortal soul. So he was channeling, and many musicians, many artists, just if we go through time and we look at some of the most creative, abstract, and phenomenal works that have happened, we look at the background, and most of these people have channeled their work. If you look at any of the classical compositions of Bach, of Mozart, of any of these compositions, they all say it came to them when they were in some type of altered state. They were channeling this. It was coming from beyond them. So it's really a beautiful thing. And the foundation of this is really what we've been talking about too, is developing and strengthening our intuition, turning that into our psychic abilities, and working with those psychic abilities. That's really the foundation and the fundamental basics that we build upon. And as we grow in those abilities, new abilities open to us, and channeling is one, and this also goes into many different realms. So me as the medium, I'm a channel between two worlds. I'm a channel between this frequency of our physical being and the divine realm of spirit. And I will channel information through for someone's loved ones. We can also channel the angelic realm, ascended masters. I mean, there's a number of different things. They even say when we're going through past life regression, we're going into a channeled state that also tunes into past lives, past energy. And, we could spend a whole show just on that, but there's many different aspects to this, and I'm really excited to get into the basic fundamentals of it. And this is something everyone, when you feel comfortable, when you feel ready, when you've built a solid foundation in strengthening your intuition, your psychic abilities, this could be an additional thing, another tool in the toolbox. But some magnificent stuff can come from this. I can tell you my writings, my musical writings, I channeled a lot of my writings. When I go back and I listen to parts I played on the piano, I can play many different instruments, but piano is not my main instrument. And when I listen back to some of the pieces that I wrote and some of these movements, they were absolutely channeled. And I was in, this heightened state of awareness. I was in this altered reality. And the music that came through to me in my writings, in my composition, were unlike anything I could have written by myself. And that's how we know, like, something is going on. This is something, we're getting information from beyond our knowing, from beyond ourselves. So whether we're channeling and connecting to loved one's spirit, our guardian angels, the angelic realm, ascended masters, whatever this may be, I can tell you the information that's coming through is to help guide and awaken you to your highest and best self. And that's truly what this is about. It's another step. It's another tool in the toolbox to try to manifest the greatest good and the greatest abilities that you could possibly have in this human existence, and this is one piece of it. So just know, if your child is way beyond his years and he or she is sitting on the piano or drawing or painting, these different skills will come. And a lot of times when the child is going into almost an altered state, they'll almost go into a channeled state. So we'll start to see this. I mean, any of us that, if we play a sport, if we write music, if we dance, even like different aspects of yoga, they say this opens us up. It starts to tune us in to this altered consciousness. And that's, the foundation of what a lot of this is and what we're going to be talking about tonight.
I was invited about a year ago, I want to say, and it's called on YouTube, We Are Channelers. And I was interviewed, and you can find it on YouTube, We Are Channelers. And I was asked, Mary, are you a channeler? Are you a psychic? And I said, I guess I'm a little bit of both, because I do channel. I channel the angelic realm, and and it just came naturally to me. And funny enough, you mentioned it this evening, and yesterday I had a spiritual experience. And I was going through something personally, and what I normally go through when I'm problem solving is I get so intense that I have to journal. I have to solve it, and I get through it. I don't avoid things, and I don't hit on, a drink or something to kind of take myself away from it. I just plow through. And I sat in my car in the sunlight, and I started kind of working on my breathing, practicing my breathing exercises, and I started to kind of doze off, and I had a lucid dream, and I saw this white angel like wing, and I felt it too. It was an impression. It was a physical sensation, and it pushed down on my right leg. And then I opened my eyes and said, oh my gosh, what was that? Because it was almost like giving me more clarity and validation in the decision making that I was needing to do. And I put off being confrontational. I'm not a confrontational person. I don't even want to stand up for myself. But I have to tell you, I must have been channeling, and the angels basically said, do what you have to do and give confirmation. and it was kind of telepathic message that I received. So that's a personal experience. In regard to who we have this evening, her name is Laura Faye. You can find her on all the social media. She's going to be on, hopefully, maybe, if we pray, if we hope, she'll give some kind of reading because she's spectacular. She's an oracle for the Aquarian age. She's a galactic channeler for extraterrestrials and elementals. And Laura Faye will explain divine union, twin flames, starseeds, timeline split, supernatural powers, and activations. But before we get on to that, we were about to go on the air this evening, weren't we, Michael? And what happened? I looked down, and somehow, miraculously, someone was in our conversation. This was 5 minutes before we got on. And I said, hello? And I looked at the number, and I said, why is this number so familiar? And it was Wendy. Does anyone remember Wendy? Wendy came to us, and she asked for a reading 2 weeks ago. And she popped up last week, and I said, Wendy, we can't do this now because we have all these other people holding. It's not fair. Well, somehow she got on the conversation with Michael and I. So we're going to bring her on right now, and she's just going to give us a little tidbit about how things are going because it's a little bit of a follow-up, and we believe and sense that she seems in much better spirits. What do you think, Michael?
Yeah, absolutely. I think she was somehow or another guided to our pre-production. we had a voice speaking in the background, and we didn't know what that was, and it was Wendy. So, no, absolutely, it's a really cool follow-up. She could tell us a little bit about some of the insight and guidance we gave her, 2 weeks ago, and how a lot of things have unfolded since then. And yeah, Wendy's energy just right off the bat sounded incredibly raised and elevated from what it was when we initially spoke to her. So why don't you bring her through?
Yeah, I want good things for her, and I want good things for everyone out there, and I'm really appreciative of everyone who's here tonight and listening and joining us. And you know what? We can all empower ourselves and bring light. Okay, here, let me get Wendy. Hold on. Everybody, hold on. Here we go. Wendy, you there?
Yes, I am.
What's up, Wendy?
Hi.
How are you?
You want to give us a nutshell how things are going?
Yes, I put an offer on a house yesterday, and now my realtor told me that they might have not based it on the right comps that sold recently, and that they're going to put an exclusion in that if there's a gap in that, then we need to the seller needs to allow us to give a lower offer. So am I going to buy the house in a place called the Classics, the one I have the offer on, or will I find a different house?
First off, when you're speaking about this property, your energy, from what I recall, there was a lot of conflict around making this decision, moving forward. There was some variables going on. Like your mindset just sounds incredibly better. So you just sound like you're more clear and more focused on your decision. I feel, you're truly listening to your intuition at this point, where I think we were trying to get you back on that path when we spoke 2 weeks ago. But I mean, your energy sounds raised. It's elevated. I think if you truly align with what we're talking about today, channel your guides, your guardians, the angelic realm that's around you, your loved ones in spirit, have them guide this to the highest and best possible outcome. I think you're going to have a real good journey coming up. And I do believe you're going to have negotiating capabilities around this, especially if the comps don't come out right, especially, we're going into definitely what they say is a buyer's market and not necessarily a seller's market. That's flipped. The interest rates seem to be coming down a little bit. So I think there's a lot of things that look good in your favor. But the main thing that I'm most impressed with right now is your energy and the shift in energy I hear from you. I mean, you sound like a completely different person. What do you think, Mary Amy?
Well, thank you. I actually found this house a couple days ago on the internet, and I'm the one who told my realtor. I beat her to the punch. And my mortgage man, Ian, and Laura, my realtor, she said at 6 o'clock in the morning, she called the agent, and she said, I'm concerned because we may have used the wrong comps, and the agent knew about that, and so they say that they're going to allow another party they're sending like what is it called?
So like an additional estimate you'd get on that, or a
right. There was another party that they might be interested in. There's several offers right now from other people, so they're going to give me the opportunity to. They're going to tell me what they think they would be willing to accept from me, but we're going to put a cap on it if the assessment shows that it doesn't assess to the offer amount, that I would only go up a few $1,000s.
Okay, so if it doesn't, if the assessment doesn't come out to where you've already bid, you can basically pull out of the deal. So it will give you a clause to drop the deal, or what's the scenario with that?
Well, yes, I can drop the deal, but I told my realtor I do not want to lose the assessment money.
Yeah.
So, they're going to give a counter offer to me, and they say they're giving a counter offer to another person, which may or may not be true. And so I am way more excited about this property because the HOAs are only $155, and it's beautiful. It's called the Classics. It's gated, and it's just very charming. It looks like a Thomas Kincaid village. Off the air, I would tell you where it is, but
Wendy,
so
it's Mary. I want to just give you some input, and then we have to go because we have to keep moving. So my input is I sense that you energetically, you're on a much better path. You've connected and activated your inner life, and you have more of an understanding, and you have clarity. And whatever you're doing right now, you've changed your thought patterns, you're more positive, and you're headed in the right direction. And we really appreciate you, tuning in tonight and calling. We just have to keep moving, okay? So you have a good night, and we will, we'll keep getting, some kind of background on what's going on, okay?
Thank you both very much.
Thank you, Wendy.
Okay.
Your energy sounds amazing. It has shifted, and I think you're definitely on the right path.
Yay!
Wonderful.
Okay, be well.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Well, so that was good. Interesting turn, and
Yeah, I just know that we could kind of get on a runaway train here, and I know that we have so much to do. I want to stay on track because we have Laura Faye coming.
Who do we got next? Who else is
all
out
right,
there?
So, we are going to let me explain some channeling. Then we're going to talk about our events, and we're going to grab somebody for you. Okay?
All right. Sounds good.
All right. So, everyone, what is channeling exactly? Now, Michael shared his perspective, and I want to say it's a process in which humans are a conduit, a translator, an interpreter for receiving and transmitting nonverbal telepathic communication of information, maybe messages, from a source such as a non-human entity. Now, maybe you're going to receive some information from an angelic being, a spirit like a medium does, a nature spirit, or possibly extraterrestrials, ETs. Now, these entities are existing in other realms or dimensions. Channeling is common with intuitives, clairvoyants, precogs, mediums, and there is what's called trance channeling and out-of-body experiences. So channelers sometimes use, and maybe you've had this experience, tarot cards, angel cards, crystals, runes, pendulums. A trance channeler is someone who uses their human body by another source as a host to communicate. So in other words, they are communicating and you are actually embodying that entity. So they come in and maybe they speak with their hands, or they talk in a different voice or different speech patterns. So channeling, it's pretty exciting, is a pure consciousness from a source that takes place in the moment of space and time. So they gather higher sources of wisdom, energy, and knowledge with inspiring information which raises your vibration. Now, Michael mentioned artists, and maybe they're musicians or writers, And they are gathering sometimes. They're going into some kind of trance, or they sit there at their computer or typewriter in the old days, and they just write because a flow of information comes through them. Some famous channelers is Edgar Cayce, which we could do a whole episode on that. Currently, I'm sure you've heard of John Edwards, James Van Praagh, Bashar, Athena in Truth. Okay, so our guest coming up is a channeler. And she's also going to speak about starseeds. And right before we bring her on, I think it's the most opportune time for me to mention starseeds, galactic ambassadors, light codes, and light language. But before that, I'd like Michael to tell us what kind of services he has and any upcoming events, and how can he be reached?
Yeah, so anyone that would like a psychic mediumship reading, I do private readings, I do message circles, group readings, galleries. I do those by phone, by Zoom, FaceTime, or in person. So if you're interested, you can reach out, michaeledley.com. So you can send me an email if you want. You can go to my website and just send me out a message, Michael Edley, Michaeledley.com. Or if you're on Facebook, you can also message me on Facebook, Eye of the Spirits with Michael Edley. And again, on Facebook, Eye of the Spirits with Michael Edley. And I update that daily with different events I'm doing, different workshops, different lectures, different galleries. So whatever it is, whether you want a private reading, whether you have a facility or an event coming up, I'd love to take the time, be a part of it. Let me know what's happening, and we can look at all that. So Eye of the Spirits with Michael Edley on Facebook, michaeledley.com. If you are on the Jersey Shore area and you're looking for something to do this Sunday, I think we still have some tickets left at the Garden State Distillery, Reiki and Readings. Just go onto my website. It's pinned up to the top. You link right there if you are local, and we'll get you out before the Super Bowl if anyone is waiting or worried that we'll miss that. But Reiki and Readings at the Garden State Distillery this Sunday. You can get a link on my page, and that's probably the best way to reach me.
Yay! Thanks for sharing that. So I am a firm believer that we should write down our sleeping dreams when we awaken, and write down the description, the date, and what your emotions were pertaining to the dreams. We can problem solve while we dream. Now, I do have a dream journal that I have an introduction, and there's 100 pages for entries on Amazon, My Dream Journal, a personal diary of messages, signs, and symbols to guide me. You can find that. You can also find me on YouTube. I do live videos. My profile is called Marry Me Official. Also, I have a channel on Roku Spark Light under Awaken. Okay, everyone. Well, I think what we're going to do before we give some clairaudience, we're going to see if we can get someone in here to do a past life. And we'll see how that goes. We have a few minutes before we have our guest tonight. Woohoo! Michael, is that okay with you if I pull someone right now and then I do the clairaudience? What do you think?
Yeah, that works for me. Yeah, if we have someone that wants a past life reading, we can do that. Or if we have another question that someone wants us to get into, we can do that. But yeah, let's.
Okay, let me see. We have about 15 callers right now. Let me see. Let me grab one right here. We don't even know who they are. We're just going to grab them. First one here. Hello.
Oh, great.
Who's this?
Hi. Glad you picked me. This is Dawn in California. How are you?
Hi, I'm Mary. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Mary.
Hey, you said this is Donna?
Yeah.
What's up, Donna? How are you? And do you have a question or a past life experience or something in particular you want us to talk about?
Well, I'd like to know if I'm going to meet someone, because I would like to have a companion. And, I'm retired. I'd like to go traveling, just have that special person. And, yeah, so, yeah. What are you picking up, please? Clairaudiently.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I'm getting some visual hits on me.
Oh, okay.
What's interesting, so I'm being connected immediately. I'm being drawn to the water. I'm being drawn to, and this isn't something on the ocean, even though the ocean could be part of it. But I'm seeing like canoeing. I'm seeing, whether this is, doing something down like a riverway, a roaring rapid river ride kind of thing. So somewhere around the water, this could be based around tubing, something outdoorsy, maybe even some kind of like outdoorsy sports around this, like volleyball. So I don't know if these are things that you had looked into or thought about, or canoeing, those type of things on a riverbank, but I'm immediately seeing you on a riverbank. And I'm just seeing an outdoor visualization. So this may be a shift. If this isn't an area that you focused on, this is definitely in your energy field. And this may be a shift of putting you in alignment with the type of person that would be who you would want to, spend that time with, who you would want to manifest into your life. So does any of that make any sense to you? And if it doesn't, that's fine. You can say it.
Not so much the river. I think, I kind of stay where I live. It's real pretty and everything. I'd probably go to the ocean. And but there is a river near my brother. I'm going up there in May for about a month. So that's
okay. So what I would say, since I saw the river, and I saw that very clearly, literally you in like outdoor kind of gear, like with a life jacket kind of thing on. So that just seems to be a very positive piece in your energy field. So if you're going there, you can identify, kind of a river area where you'd be around. You may want to look for some activities that are going on around that. And that may be some kind of opening or some kind of liaison to you and someone potentially that would fit, in your energy field, who would, if you think about this person from specific characteristics, whether that's physical characteristics or personality, what are their traits, what are things that you'll be drawn to? Are there aspects of yourself that you want to see in somebody else, or are there aspects in you that you want to see the polar opposite, and really start to think about these things. And in that shift and in that new space, that new environment, I would say look for the alignments that could, be that opening to someone new. Definitely, I see that in your energy field. Now, I don't know why. I'm also weird with you. I have a lot of like psychic pieces of like little bits and pieces of psychic energy coming through. I don't know as far as if this is a positive color for you or one of your favorite colors, but I'm seeing various shades of blue around you. So I don't know if it's not a color that you wear a lot, but I'm thinking this may be a positive color for you. And this could also be like if we start to open this up. We could go into chakra centers and a number of different things, but blue, does that color resonate with you in addition to the water connection?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a very positive color for you? Like favorite color? Okay, it's funny because there is a positive connection to that. So I would say look for things, in your choice of outfits or color that are going to help inspire you, bring that positive energy, so then that can flow over into manifesting that ideal partner for you. What do you think, Mary Amy? What's coming to you around it?
Okay, so what I received was that you're a lively gal, and you have many choices. I sense that you should give a chance to someone that you least expect. Keep open, don't stress. You can manifest this into your life. You're ready for it. You're ready for an adventure. And I sense that the individual is going to be very similar to your type in your personality. And you are ready for new things.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have any doubt about it. I don't. I sense that, like I said, many choices, more than you think. And it might be someone that you are not necessarily would normally be interested in, but there are going to be choices. Just stay open. Don't dismiss. Give things more of a chance than you normally would. And if you feel like, this isn't, things are not going the way I expect, just let it play out. Let it play out. That's my input.
Yeah, no, that's good. And And I do think you going into a different area, I think that's immediately why I was psychically drawn to the river, and you could identify that as a trip you're going to be going on relatively soon, and that's going to put you into a completely new environment with new people, new connections, new associations. So that's where I think, is your ideal. Basically, that's giving you the ideal scenario for new opportunities and new possibilities.
Wonderful. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
All right, great.
So,
well, we
you'll
really
have to give us a call back. And
yeah.
So when you're done with your trip and you meet, someone fabulous, or even if you don't, and it's a connection, and several months down the road that leads to it, just give us a call. Let us know what's going on. We always love to hear confirmations of things that may come to us in your reading.
Oh, I will. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys.
And one more thing about manifesting. So when you manifest, I don't know if you normally manifest. If you close your eyes and you visualize how you want to be treated, not necessarily the face of someone or what they're going to look like, but just how you're the energy, the emotion that you are hoping for. If you can bring joy to your heart, then it's possible. Like, in other words, maybe you see yourself on a picnic, or like Michael said, if you're in whitewater rafting, or you're at a dinner. So imagine what the life is that you want. Visualize it in your mind's eye. And if you can feel joy in your heart related to it, then you can manifest it. Now, if you don't, then something's blocking you. However, I don't really sense that. I don't believe that I don't sense that you should be listening to other people's opinions related to this, because it's your personal experience. So just trust yourself.
Yeah,
okay.
I like that. Yeah, that's so true.
Okay,
trust
good.
myself. Yep.
Trust yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
We're wishing good things for you. You have a good evening.
You have a great evening. Thanks.
Okay,
Bye.
bye. Hey, okay. So I'm just going to do some little exercise here, and we're going to be hearing from our guests pretty soon. All right, so tonight I'm going to do a little exercise related to clairaudience, your clear hearing. Now, I don't know if you have activated it. It's simply this. My suggestion is, and we're going to do a little walkthrough, and let's see if you receive any information. Okay, so what we want to normally do is we want to let go of any tension that we have in our body. So we're going to first maybe let out a breath. We're going to put all our weight in our bottom. Maybe you want to drop your arms down, get in a comfortable position, and you want to just let all this tension in your arms come through. And like I say, imagine like you're a rag doll. And so you're letting out a breath, and maybe we'll do a few breaths together. We'll breathe in, breathe out 3 times. How about that? So we really get relaxed. All right, so together we'll inhale and exhale 3 times. Second. Third. Now, normally what I suggest is you turn off your technology. Well, in this case, obviously you can't. What I'd say is you'd go sit down in a quiet space and you turn everything off, and you would just sit there, and you would, right now, I'd like you to do this. I'd like you to push away any doubt, drop down into your physical vessel, focus and concentrate. And I'd like you to listen, whether it's you sense it's coming from your right or your left ear. I always tend to imagine that I'm tuning into my right ear. And I'd like you to listen. I'm going to be quiet. If you hear anything in the room or the space that you're in, and you're going to really tune into what you're hearing. I'm going to be quiet. Now, maybe you're going to hear some kind of appliances. Maybe you'll hear some kind of technology, a computer. Maybe you're going to hear some kind of vibration or some kind of energy. And there's no right or wrong answer. Okay, so the first step is to relax. The second step is to hear in the space that you're in. And then the third step is going to be they're going to try to tune in beyond the walls of the room. So I'm going to be quiet again, and you're going to just let all your senses do the work. Now, it's not going to be your normal hearing. It's going to feel like a sensation coming from an outside source. Maybe it's going to be a flash of information, a tone, a sound, a voice, something dropping. And these are baby steps. You're not necessarily going to get it the first time. So now, after we've listened in the room, the space that we're in, we're going to listen beyond the walls of the room. And I'm going to be quiet now. Okay, so maybe you received some information. I know we're going through this quickly, but we have to keep moving. So for me, what did I hear? This is a personal experience. I heard someone doing some kind of overlapping conversation. It was a male voice. Now, after that, after you listen beyond the walls of the room, I always say, listen as far as you can imagine, maybe out into a galaxy or another realm. And the more that you stretch your clear senses like this, then the more you will receive. Now, during this little exercise, maybe you didn't get anything. You say, oh, it didn't work. So try it again by yourself. When you turn off your technology, bring a little piece of paper and write down if you receive anything. Now, you might go to sleep tonight and have a different experience while you're sleeping or tomorrow. And like I said, there's no right or wrong. It's a personal experience. It's whatever you receive. Okay, so now we're going to have, I'm going to just give you a little update on what we're supposed to be covering tonight. Tonight we're going to have Laura Faye, and she's going to be talking about, just going to bring her on in a minute, she's going to be talking about starseeds. I don't know if anyone out there knows what a starseed is. Michael, do you know what a starseed is?
I think we may fall into that category, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So starseeds are highly advanced spiritual beings originally from off-planet, possibly another star system. Like, in other words, incarnated. We're incarnated, or another, we've spoken about past lives. Galaxy and other dimension. Starseed's mission on Earth is to heal humanity and transform our consciousness to a higher vibrational frequency, and basically guide humans to the Golden Age. And Laura is going to speak about the Golden Age, which is love, prosperity, and light. Also, there's what's called galactic ambassadors, which represent off-planet extraterrestrials. Now we're just going to mention quickly a few buzzwords. Maybe you've heard of them before. Maybe you've awakened and activated the codes, your DNA blueprint. And they're what's called within us light codes. So light codes are higher planes, well, they're to be activated, higher planes of existence which resonate high frequencies of interstellar and divine groups of consciousness. These codes wake up memories. So it's, I misspoke. It's not, they're not within us light codes. Light codes activate what's within us. Now, I did a little research because I always do. And if anyone wants to experience some of these light codes activations, there is a person online, and you can go through, and there's many, many little, you hit the button, and for 2.5 minutes you hear what's called light language and different tones, and it's to activate. His name is Diego E. Berman, and it's under diegoberman.com/light language. And he gives a quote from the Arcturians, the Arcturian extraterrestrials. All the light codes embedded in these activations are aligned with beings of light who are assisting in humanity at this moment of our planetary journey. And I'm just going to give you one more little tidbit. I don't know if anyone's heard of what light language is. It's an interdimensional communication. It's your DNA and soul connection and memory language spoken before. Light language comes from the heart, bypassing all words in society. It's a vibrational expression that transcends the physical dimension. So in other words, these different tones and sounds, and I know Michael has spoken about how music is set at a certain hertz. Well, light language is a way to trigger, we'll say trigger, but activate parts of you that have been dormant and the higher advanced parts of you, because we are beautiful beings of light. So light language is expressed in tones, spoken in sounds, chanted, written, signed, and danced. And that's all I've got about that.
Yeah, the interesting thing, too, when you look at some of the symbolism and the signs and things that people channel, and you look back into like ancient Hinduism culture, ancient Buddhism, even if you look at old Christian paintings, you would see the halos. And I mean, you would see a number of different things when you look at old Hinduism or Buddhism paintings, and you see, rays of light. You see them speaking, even if they didn't exactly know what it was. They were talking about frequency. They were talking about energy. They were talking about everything that really is the foundation and is the fundamental core of what channeling is. So it's not something that we've just stumbled upon. This is something that, not only all of mankind has known, but this is something that is older than we could possibly imagine. And unfortunately, a lot of this stuff has been taken away from current society. We definitely, even just looking at aspects of how we can energy heal and how we can channel ascended masters to get great knowledge that could be downloaded to us. This has been taken away from us for a long time, and there absolutely is an awakening happening, and people are starting to learn that, this reality is not all there is.
Yes. I agree with you, because it's not all about what's out here in the physical reality. There's a lot within us, and the more of us that become activated, the more of us that tune into our clair abilities, our psychic phenomenon, our ESP, then the more of us will be connecting on other levels and learning from each other and receiving insight and knowledge, and also growing and transcending past where we exist right now.
Absolutely. That's what it is. There is an ascension taking place. There is this internal awakening that this is not a passive experience. This is absolutely something that we become immersed in, and through that immersion, we grow and we flourish. That's probably the best way to explain it.
Yes, I agree with you. And, it's funny because, well, not funny, haha, funny, strange, or mystical, you should say. I'm beginning to actually discover more within me. Like, for example, I don't think I would have had that experience yesterday, that angelic experience. I haven't had one of those in quite a while. If it hadn't been for this, coming here with you and, your energy, and also the support and positivity that I feel as though we have together, and combined, we're being supportive and, sending love out on the airwaves.
Yeah, and one interesting thing in regard to this, and like a lot of the calls, so a lot of people will call up and ask, am I going to find that significant other? Am I going to find a relationship that I align with? Am I going to find that person? A lot of this fundamental basic energy work that we're doing to make ourselves whole, that will overflow from us, and that will help align us. That's the thing I would definitely like to share with everyone out there is, don't look for a soulmate or a twin flame or whatever you want to think will complete you, because you're going to complete yourself. Find a way to work with this energy to empower yourself, to complete yourself, and then you're not looking in the wrong places. Then you're not looking in an area that does not complement your highest and best self. We complete ourselves, we do this energy work, and then we, as a complete whole being, understanding our own energy, that now transcends through us, and then we can connect to that partner. You know, a lot of times people look outside of themselves to try to complete themselves or to try to, you know, find that missing piece of the puzzle. Well, the missing piece of the puzzle is inside, and what we're going to talk about tonight in channeling and using this energy to elevate your consciousness is a piece of the puzzle, and this can absolutely bring you answers, bring you guidance, and bring you insight that you would not have received in any other way. That's how life-changing working with this energy can be for you.
I agree with you. And we are kind of always learning, too. It's not like we have all the answers, because sometimes we actually are on the job learning. And I found that with this work, because, you know, none of us have all the answers. And if someone says they do, that's not accurate, because none of us do. We haven't had the experience yet, and the world is now coming into its own. You know, our new Earth, Terra, is coming into its own. And when that's growing, we are growing as well.
Yeah, that's what it's about. You know, it's not only growing on, you know, well, I would say that it's a multifaceted aspect of being human, you know, and when we grow internally, we allow our soul and that spiritual realm to transcend through us. You know, that's when the shift happens. You know, we have to get out of this human existence that we're so caught up in, beyond it, you know, and that's really where the initial awakening will occur, and that initial shift in anyone's life. You know, if you're stuck, if you're not sure how to move forward, you know, take a step back. Don't let the human function, the human being, don't let the human being consume you and manipulate everything about you. You know, harness the spiritual aspect and let the spiritual being that's inside you take control, and you'll never be the same once that shift occurs.
Okay, so here we are. She's actually been holding because she's calling from her phone. All right, so we're going to bring on Laura Faye, an oracle for the Aquarian Age. She's a galactic channeler of extraterrestrials, elementals, the twin flame guide, and psychic leader. Join the Star Family on YouTube or Patreon for weekly video updates on the awakening, activations, masculine and feminine energies, and the Year of the Dragon. Okay, let's bring on Laura Faye.
What is up, Laura Faye? How are you? Good evening. Well,
I'm good.
What time is it in California right now?
I'm in Florida, so I'm in the same time zone. I believe it's 8:17.
Oh, nice. Okay, so there's no West Coast. We don't have to worry about the West Coast, but excellent. So it's a pleasure having you here.
Thanks for having me. I couldn't log in the video way, so I'm happy we can do it this way.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's not even a video. It's just audio. It's the same difference. It's sometimes the technology it's all the psychic energy. It's all of our energy combined.
That powerful energy.
It's actually more powerful sometimes with the phone only and audio only for the messages that come through. Absolutely.
Very cool. So
I'm so glad you're here.
Can you take us on a little bit of your journey of how this started? How did you initially start experiencing it? Was it psychic phenomena that then you started tuning into and that opened up to the channeling? Just kind of take us on your journey of how this started.
Okay, of course. I had a twin flame activation, and I also had a Kundalini activation and a walk-in experience, all in a very short period of time. And I would say this happened in 2020 and early 2020 in March. And I was a basically changed person. I felt like my higher self came in and took over in a way. So it wasn't like I felt a total different presence enter me, but I felt like it was a higher version of me that came from, I call it the Pleiadian motherships, because I felt very strong connection with the Pleiadians. I felt like they dropped me off on Earth into this body.
Nice.
and let me go. So I was very connected in 2020 and 2021 with Pleiadian energy primarily, and I channeled messages for the Pleiadians for most of the first 2 years after my activation. But it was a little bit of I would call it a reset on my human experience, because I, at this time, am relearning how to have an ego, be human again, I feel like I'm 4 years old, basically, because I felt like I was reborn in 2020 with this walk-in experience. And so what happens is when you have a twin flame activation or a psychic activation, all of these psychic abilities, senses become stronger. The Kundalini activates your six senses. So all of a sudden my clairaudience became the strongest sense and started to lead me forward. I started to do readings. I started to channel messages for YouTube. Just everything that I do now came very naturally and easily. And it also felt almost like I was compelled, like I was on a clock and on a mission and had to get the messages out. So that was at the forefront of my mind, was just get the messages out. We need to prepare humanity for what's coming. We need to prepare everyone for the golden age of light and for these 144,000 twin flames that are going to be coming together, and divine union energy that's going to be anchoring in to the earth. And that's still the message today, but I'm not as pressed for time, I'll say. It's gotten a little less intense for me in that way, where I can have some breathing room and I can also have a life and balance. But in the beginning, it was a lot right away, and it was a lot of heavy mission work that I felt like I was here to do.
No, that's
well,
awesome.
You've gained a huge following because it must resonate with a lot of the world, and people are really interested in what you have to say and what you are channeling. Do you sense that they're going to show themselves, the Pleiadians, in a physical form, or is it always going to be through, like starseeds like you?
Well, I feel like it's both. So because a lot of people are starseeds, or humans are starseeds, and we just are not aware of that fact. So a lot of humans feel like they're Pleiadian or Arcturian or Andromedan, and that is how the galactic ambassadors, I feel like you were talking about them briefly, are showing themselves. So they're the way showers, the galactic way showers of what it means to be a starseed. And I feel like we're being prepared to meet the Pleiadians, which are really our future selves. Really, these starseeds have always been shown to me as they're the future versions of humans. And we are ourselves giving us these messages at this time. So there's a lot of time travel aspect involved when we're talking about starseeds. And I feel like we have to vibrate at a very high frequency to perceive of them and to see them, because for me, I can hear them. And sometimes in early 2020, I could see them. And it's interesting, the more I became more in my human self, the less I was able to see them, but I still hear them. And so it is a frequency alignment where we have to be in the right frequency to perceive of them, but they're here already. They're not vibrating. Most humans are not vibrating high enough to perceive of them, like actually visibly yet. But I feel like they will be, and are probably having encounters with them and maybe not knowing it, and maybe sensing there's a presence around and it's a Pleiadian or it's an Arcturian, but not actually seeing them yet.
Do you sense that your mission is kind of changed then, because, or maybe you've done what you were supposed to do and now it's going to take on another form maybe?
I feel that. I feel like I've been rerouted to elemental energy, to fairies and dragons. And because they're actually the gateways, the elemental gateways have been opening before these extraterrestrial gateways are opening. So I feel it's actually going to be easier for people to connect to fairies and dragons and those beings than to the Pleiadians and Arcturians, because that's just the way it's been shown to me, is that we're more closely aligned to elemental energy than we are to extraterrestrial energy, because it's a vibrational match. We're matched more with elementals. So that's why I have been shifted to channel more messages from the dragons. And we are in the year of the dragon. So that's shifted. But the messages are very similar. They're still similar messages, but it's shifted more to be about the divine union coming together and the masculine and feminine energies coming together. That's the most dominant message.
Do you sense that we're going to head into a world where all of these are going to take a physical form, and we're going to see the dragons and the fairies and the extraterrestrials? I know I just asked you about the Pleiadians, but I'm so curious because I feel as though you kind of have a sixth sense about this. Like you've already seen the future to me.
I do see that. I see that's our future. But what's interesting about that is there are different versions of Earth. So there is a parallel version of Earth that we'll see the dragons, we'll see the ships in the sky, we'll see also ships going underwater, seeing dragons, seeing fairies. There is a version of Earth that is very different. So depending on what parallel reality you align to, you will create your reality and you will align to the one that will be your reality. So the other one is it's AI. There's a lot of, it's very cold. It's very, almost like, I don't know if you follow Gigi Young, but she talks about the eighth sphere. It's a little bit like that. It's not a place I want to be, but you can kind of clearly see if you are looking at anything out here on how the earth is going, that there's a section of humanity that fully thrives on fear, consciousness, and separation, and is manifesting that version of reality. And so that's the split earth that we're experiencing, is that there are some that are going to go into one version of earth, and then the love-based, union-based version of earth will be very different.
Well, it's because they're trying to keep us from them ourselves. That's why they're trying to divide us.
So, Laura, do you think the basis of our connection truly is vibration, where we're vibrating at? Are we vibrating on a negative aspect of, of pain, of anxiety, of fear, or are we elevating our vibration to one of love, one of passion, one of, grace? So, when you're speaking about this, it resonates with me a lot because as a medium, the fundamentals of what I do, connecting to someone's loved one, in the divine realms, it's all about vibration. The more I can raise my vibration and elevate that, the better of a connection I'm going to have. And it seems like that's exactly what you're talking about too. We're elevating our vibration, our consciousness, our awareness, and that's literally opening up these other realms to us.
Right, exactly, and that we're opening our upper chakras.
Yes.
So that's just as you were speaking, that's what I was being shown, was the upper chakras opening so that we can actually experience these euphoric states of love and grace, hope, and that feels like that's what's changing, is that there are some that can open their hearts to experience all that is waiting for us in these higher states of consciousness, and there are some that have to close their hearts, that are bound by anxiety and fear and stress and all the other fear-based emotions that are pulling us down into the old version of Earth.
So for any of our listeners that are out there that are struggling with, what they feel they're caught in a pain cycle or a trauma cycle, or they're trying to truly find that loving energy, if you could give people, 3 to 5 aspects that you've dealt with and how you've been able to change and morph the energy, or just someone that wants to try to empower themselves on this journey, what would be your recommendations of just some of the basic fundamentals that people can use to shift their vibration?
I feel like listening to meditation, high frequency music is a very strong thing to do. So the music and the frequency, because we are talking about frequency, so to put on 432 hertz, to look up heart chakra healing meditation, you can look it up on YouTube and find one that feels good to you. But an hour a day, I listen to it for usually when I'm meditating or going to sleep. I'll put on something like that. And it's also very common to have both of these going on at the same time, like having anxiety and experiencing euphoric states of love, because it's gonna be a process and a balancing process to move only into the higher states of consciousness. You can't expect to not ever feel a day of stress or a day where something happens. And because we're still in the human bodies, we're still on having a human experience. So I wouldn't cause extra stress to your being to beat yourself up over feeling anxiety, because I still have days where I feel anxiety too. So it's not going to happen right away. This is a process. But the high frequency sound I recommend. I also feel like this may be something for people. I'm not sure if everyone will resonate with this, but drinking alcohol has been a big one for me, where I just cannot tolerate it. I can't drink. I can't tolerate alcohol, or it's very, very little, if any at all. So I would say that's a big one, because it can invite spirits into your energy field. It is a spirit. That's why we call it spirits. Mm-hmm. And so it's something that I feel binds people to the lower dimensions and realms. And if you're drinking too much, that can really affect us negatively. And same goes for any substances. So just in general, that's something that I've felt really personally called away from, and it works for me to stay away from it to keep my vibration where I want it to be. And the other thing would be, if there's a possibility to find even one other person as a support system, someone who you can be yourself with, who accepts you fully. It's just finding someone who's non-judgmental, a friend, a family member, another starseed soul out there. But having someone understand us on this journey is very important, because a lot of people do not accept or understand what we are here to do yet as starseeds. So it can be a very isolating journey. And I feel like that was one of the last things that I started to attract, were soul family. But finding soul family, even if it's someone you resonate with online, is very powerful, so you don't feel alone in these beliefs. And I feel like it's stronger than a belief. It's a knowing of our mission. Most starseeds are very aware that it transcends limiting beliefs, and it's actually what you're here to anchor in. But finding someone else who's not judgmental, if you're a twin flame or whatever it is that you identify as, is very important.
So have that support system. Absolutely. Yeah, very important.
You're part of my
great.
soul family, Laura Faye.
I was going to say, find someone like Mary. I feel the same way.
Oh, I know you are. But so Michael is too. So Michael, otherwise I wouldn't be here with Michael.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, you know what? I instantly knew, and instantly. It's like an old friend that you've known forever. So I have a question. Would you be interested in like giving a reading or whatever? Do you still do the cards for people, or would you do that for one of these callers, or you're not up for that tonight? I didn't even ask you.
Oh, I can do a reading, of course.
Nothing like
great.
putting Laura Faye on the spot.
I don't mind.
Yeah, but she
I
could have
do
said
them
no.
now currently.
What'd you say?
I'm doing them currently. I still do readings, so I'd be happy to.
Okay, so I'm just going to grab someone here. Let's see. Let's hit. This person's been holding the longest here. Let's see. I'm hoping it's not somebody who called like other weeks, but let's try it.
Don't hang up.
Wait, what's your mother's first 3 digits number, Michael? It's not 732, is it?
Probably 732.
Is it 244? Is it your mother? Okay, I'm not. Okay. All right, I'm gonna hit this other number then. Hello. I'm just listening. Thank you.
Oh, she's just listening. So.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. She's good with just listening, Mary Amy. So you can pick someone else.
Okay. Let's see. Oh my goodness.
And the next contestant is...
I think it's Charles. Hello? Hello? Is someone there? I'm having no luck with the technology. Hello?
Oh.
Hello, who's with us?
Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
Hello?
Would you like to get a reading?
Sure.
Okay. All right, Laura, here you go.
Hi. So I feel like I'm not sure who this is, but I'm getting a very strong feeling that you have. It's like someone who's winning the lottery is actually the feeling here. So it's a feeling of someone who, and this may be for you. I don't feel like you see this coming, but there's something that feels like you're becoming more psychic, or you are already very tapped in, and it may be that you're going to start doing some type of psychic reading if you don't already do this work. But I feel like you could, and maybe there's a sense of, I'm not sure if I can do this psychic work, but I feel like you definitely have the ability and power and the gift here. So it's very strong.
Wow.
And it leads to some type of abundance for you. So when you start doing this work.
Wow. That's amazing. I've never felt like that. That you didn't have a gift? No, I've never thought I did.
I'm getting hidden knowledge, so it's in the Akashic records, where it may be something where planting a seed, even listening to this show, because we have activation codes in the messages, so there may be something that starts to activate that will plant seeds, that these senses that have been dormant are going to start to come on all of a sudden for you. Because sometimes that happens if we're just drawn into psychic work, that all of a sudden you become one yourself, or because we're drawn into what we are actually aligned to.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just give a little input?
Of course.
Okay, so what I'm sensing is I am sensing that you are, it's almost like you're at an amusement park and you have any ride that you can go on, and every single one of them you like equally. That's what I received.
Yeah, that's true.
Good. Well, thank you so much for calling in, and have a great evening.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Are you still there, Laura? Oh, did I just
I'm
connect
still
Laura?
here.
Oh, my goodness. Hold on. Let's see. I lost Laura. Maybe she'll call back. Oh, no.
Laura, if you can hear us, give us a call back. Mary Amy accidentally hung up on you.
Oh, my gosh.
That's all right. That was good. That was a great reading. I could just feel the energy coming from Laura Faye as she was, pulling the cards and the energy. It's a flow. You could sense that, and she just gets into that zone. If she's still out there and can give us a call, it'd be great.
Here she is. Oh my goodness. I feel
Mary
so
Amy
terrible.
didn't mean to hang up on you.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
I apologize.
Funny.
Oh,
sorry. Mary Amy has to hang up on somebody at least over the course of the night, or it wouldn't be too psychic. That's all right. It's all good. No, that was cool. What I was saying to Mary Amy, you can sense the flow you get into. It's just, you can feel the energy. It's like it unfolds. So my question to you is, can you take our listeners through, like for me as a medium, there's a process and I feel it in my body and and I start to connect and it opens. What is the process that you're going through? What are you feeling? What are you seeing? What are you hearing? Like when the channeling starts to unfold, what's the process that's going on in your body?
Mm-hmm. So it's like a flow state and a dance, and I get a lot of mostly clairaudient messages about what may be happening or what the person needs to hear and how to connect the dots. It's just kind of a feeling of connecting dots is the best way I could say it. And I would get senses. So my clairsentience to kick in. So I start to feel the way that possibly the person is also feeling and where resistance may be. And what actually was happening in that case is there was resistance. So I was trying to find what the block or what was trying to come through the block, because a lot of this message about something where immediately if the person feels like it's not resonating or something doesn't make sense, there's a reason for that, and it's usually because it's something they've never explored before, or it's opening up something way bigger than they have expected or anticipated. So I try to go in and figure out what's happening here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, great description. Just so people that aren't familiar with these processes, and I know a lot of our listeners out there that have small children. A lot of times small children may experience seeing something or hearing something, and we don't want them to discredit that. Just know, your child may be tapping into something that's truly a gift. And that's something
that's huge.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. We should embrace that, and that would be my challenge to parents, is truly see, how you can help empower your child in that way, and I guarantee amazing things will come from that, especially in like art, music. Now, did you notice ever, like, I know you said this just really started unfolding in 2020, but were there signs, little glimmers of things that had happened prior? I know when I was looking through some of your background, I know you have a big acting, you've done a lot of acting, you've done, seems like a lot of theater, and you're talking about being in the zone. I would say that's the same thing as far as, a musician or an artist. We get into that flow state. Did you find at a young age you would experience that to some degree, and then it just truly awakened in 2020, or what was, what happened prior to that awakening in 2020?
Well, it's funny you asked, because I just talked to someone else recently, another psychic, who said she knew, or I knew, that there was something different about me at 3. When I was 3 years old, I consciously knew there was something different, and I was one of those children who was temper tantrums. I threw a lot of fits. My mom did not take me to the mall for years because I wouldn't behave, And it's because I was probably getting a lot of activations and energy from everyone around me and was unable to really process it. And so there's always been this feeling of energy from others dialed up, and I've always felt like I could read minds and be telepathic. And I was always the weird girl in school that I was a loner. Nobody really wanted to be around me because they thought I was weird, and I never really knew why until I started doing this work. But I did go into theater, and I went into acting, and I felt like that was a way to channel that I was channeling characters. I was channeling other energies and expressing them. And now I channel, it's interesting because I channel Pleiadians and the Arcturians, and I channel the Archangels. But I was channeling characters for 20 years before doing this. So I was still using the same flow and the same type of activity, but I was doing it in a slightly different way through art.
And just an FYI, the weirdest kids, including myself, make the absolute best adults. You know, we turn into the brilliant movers and shakers of society. So that nothing wrong with being a weird kid.
No, not at all.
You've morphed into another version of you, because it's like I memorized the last time we spoke, which it could have been a year ago. I'm not really sure. Maybe, but you're not at all the same. It's almost like you've taken 100 layers off of you, and I didn't know 100 layers existed, but you're really down to the bare bones of yourself.
Oh,
in a good way.
I feel that because there was a lot that needed to break off of me, where I was very guarded, being public, being on social media, and a lot of the following and a lot of I did not anticipate. I did not expect that. And so a lot of my guards went up and my shields went up. And I feel like now I've just become more comfortable and being more open. And also it's probably connected to the energy of the earth, where we're having to open our hearts more and open our hearts all the time. And doing that sheds a lot of energy that we've been unconsciously just barricading around us for years and years.
Well, you're more vulnerable now.
Yeah, and I think you're the prime example, though, of, we hear when our soul's calling to us and our soul is trying to pull us in a certain direction or tune us into something, awaken us to something, we're always pulled back to it. And even through your acting career and channeling those characters and everything you were doing, it still seems like you were always your soul was always calling you to help, guide others, to lead people in this way, to show people, hey, you're not weird. Look at what you thought. Look what people would have thought of me at one point, and now you're helping people learn to empower, these energies and these gifts to truly awaken themselves. So I'd say your soul truly called you into your awakening. Wouldn't you say?
I would say so. It was a combination, and it was a combination of the twin flame, who I believe was my twin flame, masculine, that I did receive a lot of activation codes from our connection, and that's why a lot of what I channel is for the ones who are having the same experience. But I feel like I had to go through all of this first in order to guide others through it. But right, there was a lot of, my soul was calling me higher, and it had to be through love, and it had to be through a divine masculine connection, and it had to be that way, because that is how we know that love is the most powerful force. And now I say, even if you don't end up with the person who activated you, you may not end up with that person who you believe is your twin flame. This is a new message that has been coming in. But you will end up with your divine counterpart. You will end up with your kingdom spouse, your divine masculine, your divine feminine. But you may be activated because your soul is calling you, and it's a much more, the energy of twin flame is exponentially growing, and this is a good thing. It's not limiting us to be connected and attached to only one person now. It's opening up a lot more possibilities so that we can be more free. And that's a new download, and I feel like it's, you know, I have to just continue to go with the messages that come through, and it should hopefully be an uplifting message and not something that makes people feel worried or scared because they think their twin flame is not who it is. That's really not what I'm saying. But we're trying not to have limiting beliefs. We're trying to be more open to being surprised by the universe.
No, I think that's a beautiful message, and I think everyone that's listening can definitely take something from that message. You know, that really is a good perspective to have.
Mm-hmm. You are so positive, and you are guiding. You are very much guiding anyone who's, I guess, vibrating or to the same frequency, or raising the vibration, and then maybe leading, because you, whether you realize it or not, you have this sense of confidence that you're on the right path. So everyone else is kind of like you're the Pied Piper leading everyone.
Right. Well, I feel so connected to Divine Source and the truth, and that's always led me forward. And so when I get messages that sometimes contradict old messages, we have to just keep moving forward because we're paradigm shifters. So the leaders, I feel like we are all the leaders in our own way. So all the leaders are paradigm shifters. So it's okay to keep going towards the message that resonates the most with you, even if it's different from what maybe was leading you a year ago. Mm-hmm. Because that's being a leader, is always constantly letting go and adapting and moving us forward.
Could we try one more person and see if you get any information from them?
Sure.
Okay, let's see, because I lost a few. Let's see about this. Let's see if this person. Hi. Are you there?
Hello. Yeah, I'm here.
Hi. Okay.
How you doing?
Good. How are you? And what is your name?
Khalil.
Khalil. And
yep.
Did you have a specific question?
For Laura?
A specific question for us or Laura? Laura's going to be doing a reading, so you are in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. I was wondering, will I be able to find some more friends that I can do more things with and like go on overnight trips and stuff like that?
Well, I feel like, first of all, you're a strong indigo energy. Do you feel connected with being an indigo?
I don't know what that is.
It's basically someone who is more evolved than everyone around you. So you'd probably want to find, that's the easiest way to say it, you feel more like you'd need to have a layer of depth around you with the people that are in your community or your friend group, that they have to also be able to meet you at your depth. And so finding those types of friendships, I do feel like what I'm actually getting is, have you thought of starting a meetup or doing something like that to start your own group?
Yeah, I thought about that.
Because I see you leading a group and going on meetups or going on hiking. I'm just getting hiking. And it may also be a singles group. That's what I'm getting. Or maybe, are you divorced?
No, I was never married.
Okay, so singles is kind of the feeling of, are you looking for male friends mostly?
Let me get my head right. Any type, female or male.
Males and female. Yeah, because it could be a singles meetup group was the feeling. And I feel like if you started something like that, a lot of people would come and join that have similar interests.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what you're probably going to do, and then you'll meet them that way.
Okay.
Mhm. And you may also meet you may meet a future partner that way as well.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's love here. It feels like love after some broken-hearted, some traumatic experiences. But this is a total new experience that feels like it's very uplifting and very fulfilling.
Okay.
And that this feminine it's a female that feels like she may be very hard to read at first, but then she'll start to open up to you.
Okay.
So you may feel it first. That's what I get. You may feel something for this person first before she opens up.
Okay.
Wow.
Very cool. Very cool. So looks like there's some opportunities and some new things that will open to you if you shift possibly your social circle. You know, maybe look on to challenge yourself to some new opportunities, maybe do some hobbies, have some new interests, things that you haven't thought about, a shift in perspective. That's a lot of what comes to me around the energy I'm also seeing, you know, that I think correlates a lot with the cards that Laura was pulling.
Well, I appreciate it, guys.
All right. Thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening. Be well.
You too. Thank you.
I was so scared I was going to disconnect somebody. The technology.
You need bigger buttons in your studio.
I'm still here.
Well, I put your name next to your number, so that's why. And then some people just like to call in and then they just listen, so they don't really want to talk to anyone. This has been so fascinating for me because I can sense that I'm transcending, I'm growing as I'm here with you, Laura. Just your energy combined with Michael, it's very powerful. You have this, and do you know what this is that you have?
No, I don't. I really don't. I feel like I am purposefully in the dark about that. Because I'm not sure what my effect is on people, or it might be overwhelming for me to know that.
But you know what's really good, though, in what you said is, in a sense, you're not blocking yourself off to continually learning, understanding, and studying what this is. And by doing that, you're going to just expand your consciousness, amazingly in these upcoming months, years. It's a beautiful thing. And I think with all of us, that's what we need to challenge ourselves is be a student that is always learning. You know, there's always something new. There's always some way to expand our consciousness. There's a new tool or a new technique or something that we can use to empower ourselves. And I think that's the bottom line. And I think that's a really great thing, that you shared tonight. I think you gave people a different perspective that maybe they haven't heard. And I think a lot of people that are experiencing an awakening may not know why certain things are happening in their life, and I think that's why we're here. We're here to help people awaken.
Absolutely. And it's also, I'm just getting, whatever you're drawn to is for a reason. So for me, I'll order a book, and sometimes I don't read the entire book, but I know why I needed to read it or why I needed to order it, and it will just be an activation in and of itself. So anything that we are drawn to is for this learning experience that we are always evolving and awakening to. And really it's awakening to our own power and remembering more than anything else.
I am so grateful that you shared your truth, and you were very vulnerable, and you were just gave some readings tonight, and this was so wonderful. Can you share ways for you to be reached, and if you have anything that you want to tell us upcoming in event-wise?
Yes, I'm in the early process of planning some in-person events, and that's going to be probably later this year, maybe this summer, but I will announce that as soon as they are known to me, then I'll have those details. But I feel like the best way to reach me, to do a reading with me, is through the intro app and my link tree that's on Instagram, that's on Twitter and YouTube. It's always in the description box under all my YouTube videos. And you can subscribe to the Patreon community, which I post to their messages for the 144,000. There's a lot of twin flame messages on Patreon, and that link is also in the link tree. And YouTube, I post videos weekly. So those are all the best places to find me.
We have in the description for this episode, we have your Instagram, your YouTube, your Twitter, and you are a friend to everyone. And I'm so glad that you know me and I know you, and you're in my life, and you shared your all of your talents and I guess your guidance and being a galactic channeler. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm so glad we could do this again. It was a year ago that we did the last one, I think.
Well, it was meant to be.
And this time you get both of us.
And it's so nice to meet you too, Michael. Thank you.
Absolutely, Laura. It was my pleasure. That was great. I could feel the energy. You know, through, like you said early on, we don't have the video. You know, we just have the audio. But I think this audio is pretty powerful for everyone.
Oh, I believe it is. It's there really is a special feeling I get. Sometimes I would do phone readings, and I'll just say it feels like a lot more sometimes can come through because we don't have this distraction of the visual. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Good stuff.
Thank you so much.
So you know we're going to be reaching out to you again. So we're going to have you coming up soon, I hope.
Oh, good. I'd love to anytime.
Well, enjoy Florida. I'm sure it's warmer than here in New York on the East Coast.
Yeah. Oh, is that where you are? That's right.
Yeah. Good old Jersey Shore.
A little
52
chilly.
degrees today.
Yeah.
I woke up, it was 22 degrees.
Yeah.
I don't do very well in cold weather, I'll say. Right? Maybe I'm not sure, maybe it's the dragon energy, but I was moved to Florida last year.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. I thought you were still in California.
A lot of people do. I lived in LA for a long time.
Well, I'm glad we
but
got it.
I'm more drawn to the East Coast now.
Well,
good.
Pick out some good
maybe I'll see
locations
you
in Florida.
person.
So when we bring the show on the road, we need a good spot in Florida to broadcast live from.
Oh, we'll find a space. We'll find it.
Yay! All right. Well, be well, and I'll message you after. Thank you, Laura. You're the best.
Great.
Thank you so
for
much.
Having me.
Thank you so much, Laura.
Bye.
Appreciate your time.
Bye. Oh, of course. Thank you. Take care.
Bye. Oh my gosh, she is so sweet. Love her.
Absolutely. What's cool for me, this was an interesting radio show because I actually will be doing a reading later on tonight for someone out on the West Coast. And, you know, it was good. I was in the zone even when you were doing your meditation. When she was doing some of the cards, I could feel that energy. And that energy, you know, that'll help me. That'll help me going into this reading I'm going to be doing. So I like it. This is a good show. And I love the energy that was coming through just from her and when she was doing the cards.
She's She's a really special person. Whatever's going on here is bringing back some clients. I have a client tomorrow.
Nice.
Okay, so upcoming. We have an upcoming show next week, Friday. It's Friday evening. It's not Thursday. It's Friday, February 16th at 6:30 p.m. We have Debbie Solaris, a galactic historian, extraterrestrial contactee, and guide. We're staying on the theme of extraterrestrials and galactic. So that should be very exciting.
Yeah, those of you that are fans of the Gaia channel, I'm sure you have seen her on there. Debbie's been featured quite a few times. Looking forward to talking to her.
I am so looking forward to talking to her. And next month we have a guest next month who is a flat earther. Dave Flat Earther. I just wanted to mention that. That should be exciting. But we are going to dedicate a few of the shows each month so that we have chances to give readings and talk about some interesting topics. And, of course, focus on psychic powers.
Absolutely. If there's anything anyone would love to hear us talk about, message us, send us in an email, whatever it is. You could send it to Mary Amy, you could send it to me, but we'd love to hear your thoughts on what you'd like to hear on Two Psychics.
You can find my connections for social media on our descriptions, and I think Michael has his website also on the description. So here we are, and we'll be back again next week, again with this guest, Debbie Solaris, Galactic Historian, and we're wishing everyone well, and we hope you follow us and, share our show with friends or anyone out there who is kind of in this mindset.
We're all about the mindset and expanding the mind.
Yes. And don't forget to write down your dreams when you wake up tomorrow morning. Any last parting thoughts, Michael?
I just want to say thank you for everyone that's tuned in to Two Psychics, and we are looking forward to bringing you a new show next week.
Thank you so much, everyone. And everyone be well and tune into your heart. And when you get off tonight and the show's over, I suggest you go into a quiet space and listen beyond the walls of the room and see if you receive any impressions or you activate your clairaudience. Okay, everyone, be well.
Take care. Have a good night.